So let's set the stage here. I pre-ordered Star Wars The Old Republic. Yeah, I was one of those people. I've got the shiny little founder title that no one cares about anymore. I was there on day one. Hype levels were through the roof. And here we are, over a decade later, me finally sitting down to give this game a fair shake with a score that might surprise you, or maybe it won't. This game is kind of like eating cold pizza. You're not mad, but you're also not bragging about it to your friends. Alright, well, let's get into this. Let's talk gameplay. SWTOR plays like your standard tab target MMO. You know the drill. You press buttons, numbers fly out, enemies fall over, and then you loot their pants because apparently everyone in the galaxy is just walking around with credits stuffed in their pockets. It's a formula we've seen before, and yeah, World of Warcraft basically perfected it back when Gangnam Style was still topping the charts. SWTOR though, it feels a little more clunky. Now, don't get me wrong, combat works, but it has that old school MMO stiffness, where sometimes your abilities don't chain smoothly, or you're waiting for animations to catch up, like while your character stares blankly into space, like they forgot their social security number. Instead of tightening things up, they leaned into throwing a bunch of loss of control mechanics at you. You know what I mean. Stuns, knockbacks, roots, force pushes that send you flying halfway across the map, like you're a ragdoll in a physics demo. It's not that these things aren't fun. Getting yeeted off a cliff can actually be hilarious, but sometimes it feels like they use these gimmicks to mask how slow and clunky combat can feel compared to other MMOs. That said, not all fights are just button mashing. Some boss encounters actually have a decent number of mechanics. You've got to dodge AoEs, interrupt casts, position enemies correctly, the whole dance. It's not Final Fantasy XIV level choreographed ballet, but it is enough to keep you awake and engaged. Honestly, the fights that mix in movement and actual mechanics are some of the most fun moments in the game, because they make you forget the clunky core combat loop for just a little while. And of course, like any self-respecting MMO, gear is the carrot on the stick. SWTOR uses a pretty standard item level system. You get better gear, the numbers go up, your enemies die faster, repeat forever. It's nothing innovative, but it gets the job done. The upgrade treadmill is alive and well here, and while it's satisfying to see your stats climb, it can also feel a little too familiar for some. Ah yes, +2 strength. Truly, I am now the ultimate Sith Lord. Jokes aside, with enhancement slots on your gear like a lightsaber crystal or lens focuser thing, there are a lot of numbers to go after, and I think that's great, as long as you enjoy a standardized gearing up system. One thing this game actually deserves some credit for is the companion system. They're not just there for flavor text or quest filler, they're actual gameplay tools. Your companion can tank, heal, or DPS depending on what you need, and that flexibility makes soloing content so much smoother. Plus, sending them out on missions to gather materials or crash while you go about your business is brilliant. It feels natural for the Star Wars universe too. Like, of course Darth Vader isn't farming herbs in a field. He's got stormtroopers for that. You're the hero. You've got better things to do than pick flowers or skin alien animals. Although, if you wanted to, you could. Another thing worth touching on, the game zones are massive. Travel is a big part of the gameplay loop. You'll be hopping between planets, riding speeders across giant maps, and spending way too much time trying to remember where the heck that one quest NPC is hiding. It's cool at first. It gives the universe scale, but after a while, it starts to feel like an intergalactic Uber simulator. Pro tip, always unlock your quick travel points unless you enjoy running through the same canyon 50 times. Now, here's where SWTOR actually shines. The story. And oh boy does this game have story. Unlike most MMOs where quest givers are basically walking explanation points, SWTOR actually gives you cutscenes, dialogue choices, and full-blown characters. You feel like you're part of your own Star Wars movie. You can be a noble Jedi, a power-hungry Sith, or just some smuggler trying to pay rent. The choices aren't world-shattering, but they add flavor. You can go light or dark side or chaotic chaotic dumbass side, my personal favorite. It makes the grind of kill 10 space rats a lot easier to swallow when the guy sending you out at least has a name, a face, and occasionally a sense of humor. All the quests where you interact with them sometimes challenge and overthrow them, sometimes lie to their boss and get them fired, or you can help them get promoted, I guess. I played a traditional pure evil true-blooded Sith, cause of course I did, so I killed as much as I could. That said, the in-game cinematics, man, they feel empty. Like the NPCs are all amazing, the voice acting, the interactions, it's mostly super great, but the sounds around these interactions make it feel awkward. Like when you see your spaceship shoot off with a little more than a hum, or a building exploding with just a bang and silence. They felt long and awkward, and like they forgot to add all the fun sound effects. Like the only thing I turned off was the music, and it feels like half the game is muted, but only on these cinematics. It's weird. Alright, let's go over the graphics. Oh boy, the graphics. Look, let's be real. This game launched in 2011, and it shows. Saying SWTOR looks dated is like saying Yoda is a little old. It's polite, but it doesn't capture the whole truth. Character models look stiff, the environments are big but kind of lifeless, and the armor, yeah. Customization is nice, but most of the gear looks like space pajamas, or maybe a foamy or plasticky cosplay armor that was cut with an axe and spray painted. Every time I equip a new chest piece, I'm like, cool, so when do I get the actual badass armor? You know, the Darth Revan stuff, the Darth Malgus stuff, the Jedi Temple Guard stuff, and the game just says, cash shot, buddy, cash shot. On the plus side, the worlds are huge and pretty impressive in scope. You walk into Coruscant and it feels like a massive city. Tatooine actually feels like a desert you want to escape from. So the scale is there. The polish, not so much. Now, if there's one thing Star Wars always gets right, it's the sounds. Lightsaber hums, blaster pew-pews, and John Williams music, or at least John Williams inspired music, fills the background. It does a lot of heavy lifting. I don't care how dated the visuals are. The second I ignited a lightsaber and hear that iconic hum, I'm instantly cooler than I'll ever be in real life. Voice acting is also solid. It's one of the only MMOs where literally every single quest is fully voiced. That's insane. Imagine WoW trying that. Please, champion, go kill those boars. Except now it's 10,000 lines of audio. SWTOR did it, and honestly, that's still impressive today. Technically, SWTOR runs okay. Not great, not terrible. It's like an old car that still works sometimes, but stalls when you hit a red light. On modern PCs, it's smooth enough, but don't expect cutting-edge performance or buttery frame rates in crowded areas. Load times? Yeah, you're gonna have to wait. Loading into some areas feels like waiting in line at the DMV. You'll get there, but not fast. The engine, let's just say it's not exactly built for modern standards. SWTOR feels like it's held together with duct tape, hope, and a little bit of force magic. With a fair amount of bugs for such an older title, it makes me feel like they don't really care about any technical issues or long loading times. And to their credit, I do feel like it is more rare than common. Progression in SWTOR is decent. Each class has its own storyline, which is wild. 8 full campaigns, basically. Replay value, it's actually really good if you're the kind who wants to try out different characters and see different narratives. That said, leveling can feel grindy. The side quests are basically filler episodes in an anime. Some are fun, most are completely forgettable. But hey, at least you can spacebar through the dialogue if you're not feeling it. Then the story. The main quests, well, these are better. But without doing all of the extra stuff, I found myself just running from point A, my spaceship where I got the mission, to point B where I made contact, then to point C to talk to someone, then back to point B, then to point D to kill someone else, then back to point C, then to point E to meet someone, then back to point B again. It's just a lot of running around, and I was honestly running around 95% of the time when doing the main class storyline. It was not okay. I know through the years they added shortcuts to skip all this and start with the high level character, but I don't know, man. It just felt so drawn out for no reason. Each 8 of these class storylines kind of collapse into one storyline after level 50, as that was the base game. So the big storyline and rank up as you did becomes pointless. It's mostly there for flair after level 50, but the storylines are still very amazing, and more MMOs need to learn from this game when it comes to the storytelling. If you're looking for hours, SWTOR has them. This is a time sink. You could lose months of your life here, and some of us did. The base game alone has more content than a lot of full-priced RPGs, and it's free to play now, which is both a blessing and a curse. Blessing because, hey, free Star Wars MMO. Curse because the free-to-play restrictions feel like EA standing behind you, tapping your shoulder, going, hey, wanna spend $5 to hide that helmet? It's not okay. Now, innovation. SWTOR didn't exactly reinvent MMOs. They basically copied WoW's formula, slapped a Star Wars skin on it, and added dialogue wheels. And honestly, they didn't even copy WoW well. It's like they tried to photocopy Warcraft, but the paper jammed halfway through. Still, the voiced quest and branching dialogue was a big deal for MMOs, and the companion system is actually smart. So while most of the gameplay feels familiar, those touches at least made SWTOR stand out at launch. Even the spaceship fighting launched with Star Fox vibes and got clowned on because of it. Not to worry, because they did eventually add a much better ship-to-ship battle experience, but I personally feel like it is the game's single worst feature. I like the Star Fox style so much more. Plus, I gotta mention that even the normal instance dungeons, which are called flashpoints here, even have a big story to them. Like, as you level, one of the first ones is you get sent on a secret mission to board an enemy ship and blow it up, or something. But during that, there are tons of dialogue options, and the entire party can vote, and everyone rolls, and then the highest roller gets to speak and say the thing that they chose. And these change the flashpoint outcomes, slightly. Again, more flair than anything, but it was a great innovation back in the day. It's a shame no other MMOs really adopted this feature. I will also note, I did a few flashpoints, and everyone voted to just skip all the talkie-talkie. So if you want to know what is happening, either play with friends or, you guessed it, do it solo. Difficulty in this game is pretty tame. The story content is easy. You'll steamroll most enemies with your companion at your side. Dungeons and raids, they exist, but the challenge is more about coordination and not standing in fire than anything else. Veteran content adds some spice, but overall, this isn't a game that's trying to break your spirit like, say, Dark Souls. SWTOR is more like, relax, swing your saber, enjoy the ride. But for those who want to top the PvP charts or be a top-end raider, those options are there. For an MMO, SWTOR sometimes feels weird. You spend a lot of time with your companions, making choices, doing story content solo, but when you do group up, it's fun. Flashpoints are solid, PvP is chaotic, and Galactic Starfighter is like Mario Kart in space. Junky, but fun for some. The community is smaller these days, but still alive. You'll find guilds, you'll find friends, and you'll definitely find that one guy in chat arguing about whether Darth Revan could defeat Goku. So what's the verdict? SWTOR is like that old car in your garage. It's not flashy, it's not new, but you've got memories with it. It's dated, it's clunky, but it's still Star Wars. And sometimes that's all it needs to be. WoW defined the genre. Final Fantasy XIV reinvented it. Guild Wars 2 carved its own little niche. SWTOR kind of exists in the middle. It's got way more story than most MMOs, but less reason to care once the story ends. It's the friend who shows up late to the party, still wearing a Halloween costume in December. So yeah, I'm giving Star Wars: The Old Republic a 7 out of 10. Why a 7? Because despite all of its flaws, the dated graphics, the grindy gameplay, the awkward cinematics, the story, the companions, customization, and the Star Wars feel carry it. This isn't the MMO that changed the world, but it is the MMO that let me wield the lightsaber, flirt with the Twi'lek, and send my droid off to do all the hard work while I watch Netflix. And honestly, that's worth a 7 in my book. Like, it's free. For the grand price of your time, you can play this. And for the class stories alone, I feel like it's worth it. But with the community that feels on its way out, and a microtransaction system that wants to drain your bank account just to gear your character, I can't justify giving this an 8. If this game launched today and asked even $30, I would give it like a 3. Like, it's just not there anymore. It's too dated. But for those wanting a genuine Star Wars experience, this will hit that vibe for you. That's all I got today. Thanks for watching, and what do you think? Is SWTOR truly a dying MMO, or is it hanging in there even after, 14 years? I was so pumped for a KOTOR 3 single player game too. Then they canceled it. Sad day for Star Wars fans everywhere. Anyway, see you down the path, gamers.
Now you will all be confused.